Welcome each and every one of you. So today we've got a special guest, DDS from the UK, massive DJ, massive producer, giving some proper solid hits, man. Right? So DDS, tell us a bit about your journey. Where did it all start from? I mean, let's start from back in the days when DDS, no one knew DDS who he was. How did it all start from?
So it goes way back, way back. I think it started from even before I got into music or DJing. I used to obviously play tabla, banja, and at local Punjabi schools and Gurdwara. So I think that's where it originally started from, the foundations. So obviously that you pick up a lot of things from there. And I still did it while I was when I transitioned into music. Like Bhangra music, I used to listen to it all the time. And back then it was different. We used to had certain radio stations. So we had like the main radio stations, which were predominantly Bollywood, but then we had local stations, radio stations, which was like pirate radio stations.
And
then from there, we used to listen to live. I used to listen to live DJs, live mixing. It used to be after like 10 o'clock for a good 2 hours. I think that's what sort of got me into it, into the DJing side. And then obviously when I used to buy old school tapes, cassettes,
Wow.
the Shinda, Jazzy
That's going
B.
back. That is going back a long time here.
Exactly. And then that's when I got into the production side. So it was just like, because I was always intrigued, it was always, because I sort of knew how to do it. I think that's what pushed me into it. Because as soon as I started hearing the music, for example, then I was like, oh, wait a minute, I can do that, or if the tabla or the vajja or whatever, in my head, I'm like, okay, I can do that. So that's what sort of pushed me towards it.
Fantastic. So you've been inspired from that kind of way of like cassettes, CDs, learning the music itself. I mean, did you have any mentor or anyone or someone you looked up as an inspiration to get into the music side of things?
At the start, it was, I think it was pretty difficult. It was just, we used to listen to, because I used to listen to music and I knew my music wasn't ready. So I didn't really push towards releasing anything. And then what I did was release, it was like a white label CD. So we used to print. I did a song, a cover, for Baskar by Bindra. And it was ages ago. I got one of my good friends, Justjo Kumman. He sang it.
Oh yes.
And this was years ago. This must have been over 20 years ago. And then what we did, we printed the CDs ourselves. And then what I used to do, I used to DJ at functions at schools, so Diwali Bash or proms. So I used to print them and then hand them out there. And then, people used to say to me still, like, oh, I remember, I've still got the CD. So that was my sort of introduction into it. Musically, I used to listen to a lot of people. A lot of people gave me advice as well. But I think everyone in this industry is quite cutthroat. Everyone sort of everyone, because it's not a huge industry. It's quite they sort of they don't really want to introduce other people into it, if that makes sense. So I think I've always had that. But I've always so then I used to present as well with Shinhaya. He sort of brought so with him he brought me into. He used to show me his songs and everything, and then I used to send him mine and get advice of him, and so it was just so otherwise it was more just trying to get my leg into the industry, but
yeah, absolutely.
there wasn't that much. Back then, there wasn't that much help. Yeah, now it's obviously everything's digital, so now it's so easy to release anything. But back then it was quite difficult then.
It's interesting you've mentioned Shin here because he's got a massive contribution to the music industry. I mean, back in the days when he was known as Shin GC, we know him Shin here now. You know, so he's got a massive contribution as well. I mean, coming to your DJing side of things, I mean, that's one prominent thing where you've got Enigma road shows. You perform internationally. I've been researching on your live sets you've done down in India, across the globe, everywhere. Right? Now, with all this pandemic what's been going on, I mean, it has heavily affected a lot of DJs in terms of live performances and, you know, weddings and all that. And, you know, the venues have been closed down with the pandemic. I mean, how have you been, you know, how has it affected you in a way? I mean, tell us a bit that side of things.
It's literally, since last year, it's been a full year now. A whole year has been zero, no gigs. Literally, my team, me, we used to be out. I used to be out Friday, Saturday, Sunday religiously. The odd gigs here and there in the weekday. A lot of international functions we used to do. I do at least 2 functions a month international. Europe, anywhere in Europe was quite popular. Then the seasonal weddings we had was like India, for example, used to be in like October and November, and then so that was it was so busy, and I always used to like pinch myself, you know what, this is like my peak at the moment. I'm like, I don't want this to stop. And then out of all the things in the world, for me to stop DJing had to be a pandemic. And then, so that's what I sort of look at it as a positive. You can look at it as a negative. I know there's so many DJs out there. We're all just sitting, like literally it's just stopped. And a lot of DJs are full time. So you have to understand there wasn't no help for, you know, for any musicians or DJs. And then that's what happened. It just stopped. And then I luckily own a few businesses. So that was okay. Financially was not a problem, but what it was, I always now in the back of my mind is, okay, he's going to pick up, they say, you know, from June the 21st, it's going to start again. But in my head, my head is like, how do I go back to that lifestyle? Because my lifestyle.
Absolutely. Because you've got like a year, more than a year gap.
So it was. Because I used to do it repetitively, and always I used to do it all the time, every weekend. I was in a zone where Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, I used to be home 4, 5, 6 in the morning, and now I haven't done that in 1 year. So now after a year, in my head is like, how do I do this whole? Because our days when we used to DJ it wasn't like, you know, people think a wedding is 5 hours. It wasn't 5 hours. Our day was a good 16 to 20 hour days where we go in the morning, we load everything, you know, it starts from the week actually. So, prepping everything, planning everything. And then what happened was we used to go in the morning, load everything, go to the venue, wherever it is around UK, set up, offload everything, set up.
Absolutely.
The easiest part was DJing. That was the easiest part. So we used to DJ and then pack everything away, bring it all back. And by the time you get home, it used to be like 4 or 5 in the morning. And that now, that's the only thing that's sort of worrying me, is that, look, we need to start, you know, getting used to this lifestyle again. I think I think with everyone, with all the DJs as well, it's the same thing, because it's a whole year of nothing. The good thing is I spent a lot of time like with my family. So where I wouldn't, I would not be at any functions. I wouldn't be and like any family functions or any gathering. I wouldn't be there because I'll always be busy at weddings. And so now this year, obviously we couldn't meet up like that, but at home I was always, you know, I'm always at home now. So that's the positive.
So what's replaced it now? I mean, you've been off the DJing side of things for a year now. I mean, how have you replaced that time now? I mean, is it just primarily just into the family, or have you started cooking or anything to learn, gain some weight, weight or something, you know?
There's a like a sort of joke going around that, every DJ has become a cook now. So
Yeah.
the thing is, I never used to cook at all, ever. And then
Yeah.
just recently I've sort of, yeah, so I've like, because it's, everything's quite easy, you know, everything's on YouTube, or, you know, you get all
Yeah.
these, you know, 1 minute things how to, you know, how to cook.
That's
So,
it. Yeah,
so
yeah,
now
yeah.
I'm sort of doing that. But also the good thing is that because I've got this whole, you know, this whole year I had out, I can now concentrate on my music. So
Yeah.
so now I've been releasing quite frequently, where before I was always busy with like work, my other work, and then always with DJing. So the only time then I had was to do like remixes.
Absolutely.
But now it's, yeah, so now I'll come back into the whole production thing. I've set up my studio again, and it's just like, you know,
Fantastic.
it's just, yeah. So once you get that environment, or you get that time, it just changes everything. And now
Absolutely.
it's that's the good, that's the, again, a positive thing that's come out of this.
Absolutely, because I've noticed now, because the fact that you now, you know, bring in some official single tracks, like Passe Hartia, I mean,
Yeah,
solid tune. I
yeah,
mean, solid tune there,
man.
right? You're sick vocalist, and a top video as well. I mean, you can't go
Yeah.
wrong with that track.
The
So,
singer
yeah.
he's amazing. Oh, that
Oh,
guy
yeah.
has got his vocals is it's up there completely.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
he
Absolutely.
sort of makes the track because his voice is so powerful. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so that, yeah, so the track was good. I actually did that track years ago. I
Yeah.
actually recorded his vocals. His vocals were recorded nearly, it must have been about 18 years ago. That's how long I've been.
Whoa.
That's how long I've had
Yo.
the. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
18 years you had those vocals. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there's one thing that I always get asked by many people here, right? That why do producers have vocals all the recorded for so many years,
Yeah, yeah,
and they
yeah.
don't even drop the track till certain years after, right? I mean, why is that with the producers?
You know what it is? Yeah, I can't speak for anyone else, but
Yeah,
for me, what it was, I used to look for the right moment. But the
yeah.
problem is, there's no right moment in music. There's
Mm.
events that, you know, guide, you know, where the scene's going or whatnot. But the problem is, if you sit on it, it's going to happen with what happened with my track. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, yeah, I'll do it then. I'll do it then. And something else happens, and something else, you know, happens in my life. Then I'm like, okay, maybe I'll do it next year. So that's I personally think that's why a lot of people just sit on tracks. This one actually, I produced it ages ago.
Hmm.
It was going to be released. I produced it. Then it was actually going to be my first single that I was going to release.
Ah.
And then what happened was, I met while I made the track, I met Bikram. So Bikram Singh,
Oh, yes.
he came down. He done a show, and we met each other. And he's like, "Look, I was like, look, I want to, I want your vocals." I was like, you know,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah, yeah.
'cause he at that time he was popping, man. He was
Oh
like
yeah, Bikram Singh. I mean, alongside with Tiger Style and stuff.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. They
it
were
was
like the
massive. It was massive.
biggest thing. Like what I used to do gigs, and then I remember one night he had 3 club gigs in a row in the same night.
Whoa.
That in UK, and that's how big he was. So I was like, look, you know, I've got a song in mind, and he sang a verse of it, and I was like, you know what, that's a beautiful song. Let's do it. So we recorded the
Yeah.
vocals, and that's why the Passe Harta came. Oh, it got left behind because that track was made,
Yeah.
and I was in the
Yeah. Yeah.
moment, and I was like, yeah, let's do this. Then it got pushed even more because I did a track with Desi called DJ
They
Otto.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, so it got pushed back even more. Then I think I did another one with Bikram, and they got pushed back more, and then it still got neglected. And then what
Yeah.
happened was the sound changed. So obviously, if you listen to Bhangra music from, you know, early 2000s to mid 2000s,
Yeah.
2010, it always kept changing.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah.
so then
Absolutely.
when I was ready to release it, the sound was completely different. I was like, oh my God, I have to go back now. So then I made it all
Yeah.
again, and then this year, so I made it again. So this year I was like, you know what, that now obviously there's a pandemic and free time. I go, look, now is the time to release it.
Yeah. Uh, and to be honest, it's a solid tune. I mean, it's
Thank you.
solid tune. I like it. I like it. I mean, you mentioned Bikram Singh as well. I need to mention him as well because, like you said, you know, he was massive at one time, right? And I mean, Ik Jindri was a good track as well. I mean, mentioning that track, it had Ashmeet and Rula as well. It was a duet style song. It was a different vibe completely because, like we mentioned, I mean, like if we go back to say around about 2006, 2007 time, that time we could see like people like Miss Pooja and Geeta Zelda doing, you know, duet songs and everything.
You know,
having a bit of a banter with each other, right? But Ik Jindri was a bit different, right? Although it was a duet track, but I think there was a lot of tradition and culture in there as well at the same time. Like, you know,
because the actual song is like an old folk song. And obviously the tune and everything is like that, but he's changed the vocal, the lyrics. But the thing was, my idea was, it's my first track, and at that point, everyone was releasing Bhangra tracks, like, you know, Tol, Tumbi. And then I was like, look, I'm just gonna get, you know, watered down or just, you know, just pushed aside because it's gonna be the same stuff. And then I was just having a word with him, and then I was like, look, let's make like not a sad song, like a nice love, like with a bit of melody. And so my main thing was I wanted it to be a sort of a track that I could people listen to the car, like a radio track.
Absolutely.
Being played. So that's why I did it like that. And I don't know how it worked because all the radios were playing it all the time. It was on TV, and it was just continuing, and it was just like a happy-go-lucky sort of vibe.
Absolutely.
I think that's what worked for it.
I mean, coming to like, for example, Ishmeet and Rula as well. I mean, her voice is very, very different than Vikram's, where Vikram is like more of a high pitch voice.
Yes.
Right, on a higher scale voice, and Ishmeet is more of a melodious kind of semi-classical kind of voice.
Exactly.
You know, and it kind of worked. It kind of worked in both ways.
So we did when the way it worked was he sang his parts, and then we were looking for a singer. So we had like 7 singers, and we went through. We're like, okay, what about her? What about her? So we actually it wasn't like, oh, let's just, you know, nowadays the production side is so quick that we sort of release. Back then it was we sat down, like, you know, back then it was no FaceTime or anything, so it was phone call. So I was like, look, let's do this. So it literally came down to 3. We cut them down to 3. Then it was 2, and then I think he'd done a show with her in America, and he's like, oh, what about this girl? And he sent it, and I was like, so I was listening to her. I was like, she's really good, because she was in something PTC, some what do you call it, singing competition.
Right. Okay.
And then he was like, she came 3rd there from the international stages. And then I heard her voice, and I was like, you know what, this is perfect. Because back then, the whole scale was Miss Pooja, Sudesh Kumari, that was a vibe. And those girls, those ladies sing like up here. And because Bikram was singing up there, we couldn't let the lady sing like that. So as soon as she sang it obviously on a lower scale, and it was she just literally, me and Bikram were like, you know what, this is the person. And it was good because she's never released anything then, and it was good that we sort of introduced her. So as much as the track worked out for me, it was a really good thing. It worked out well for her as well because it was a debut track as well.
Absolutely. I mean, mentioning, you said there were 6, 7 other artists you were looking at. I mean, can you mention which were them? What you had listed out to make a choice here.
We had all the so Bikram recommended a few. He recommended Gunjan. And she's a very good singer. But the only problem was I didn't want it to get linked with his tracks called Karma. And that was huge. And then Tiger Style on the music, and so I didn't want it to get sort of be a part 2, and he didn't want that as well because he wanted to do a second version anyway. So. Then there was other singers like again I said Sudesh Kumari. There was Sarabjit Kaur.
Sarabjit Kaur.
She was very good, and she released a song around that when we were looking to do this. She did Heed with Jack's Climax, and that was huge. Again, but the problem with all these singers, apart from Gunjan, all these singers were very high pitched singers and very powerful singers. So my thing was like we needed to bring in, some calm, some calm,
Yeah.
voice. Yeah. So that's why.
Absolutely.
That's why we went. Yeah, that's why we went with Ishmeet.
Fantastic. I mean, to be honest, that track, like you said, it is a radio track. It's something what you would put on in your car. You're on a long drive, and it's something soothing and something very engaging, I would say.
Yeah. No, definitely. I would. I think that's what we were aiming for, and it worked.
Yeah,
For you to say that,
it
that
worked.
is, yeah, yeah. So
It worked. It worked. It definitely worked. It definitely worked. No doubt. I mean, talking about, Bhangra music, right? You've done some Bhangra tracks.
Yeah.
You brought a sudden change now in your production where you've got MC Rax with The Calling. I mean, tell us a bit about this track now, right? What's this sudden change of rap music?
Yeah. You know what it is? I don't have a genre of music I listen to. So
Yeah.
I always like music that sounds good. So Bhangra has always been not forced upon me. It's been there because I've been brought up in that culture. So Bhangra was always going to be something that I dabble in. But then when it came to other music, I've always had, because I DJ as well, I always listen to different types of music. And especially when I DJ in London, that type of music becomes now is like grime or drill music or trap music. So the thing is, it's sort of the only reason we did this, number one, was because of the whole protest that was going on. I felt that India are releasing so many songs like
endless. I mean, one after the other,
And I just felt with this, with the calling, we needed something from the UK but not like a Punjabi song that's from the UK, but I thought we needed something that sort of represents us as a UK, because everyone thinks at the moment everything's just like a hip hop beat with someone just rapping in Punjabi or singing in Punjabi.
Yeah.
So we sort of wanted to bring a vibe. So what I did was just the actual chorus is a old kavita, so it's an old poem that used to be sung before Baba Pindrawala used to be on stage.
Yeah.
And so it sort of links with what's going on at the moment, because and then at the end I put a speech as well in there which links with what's going on at the moment. So what I did, I found it and I literally put it, and I was like, you know what, I can do something with this. And I always just sit there making beats, and I made this, and I literally sent it to Rax, and Rax saw it straight away, and he was like, this is good, man. Like, this is good.
Yeah.
He's like sending. So I was like, look, send me something, like. And this is in lockdown when everything was closed again, so we couldn't even go to the studios. So he was sending like voice notes to me. He sent a few, and I was like, you know what? Let's just, as soon as the studios open up, we'll go and we'll put some lyrics down. And then we got to the studio, sat there, and like even like when we were engineering it, my engineer was like, "This is completely different from what you normally do."
Whoa.
So like we're doing it, and then even with Rax, I was like, "Okay, what's your lyrics?" And he's like, "I don't know." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I'm gonna do them now." So he literally wrote them on the spot. So
whoa.
Yeah, so we were talking about it. He goes, "Look, so we're talking about what's happening," and he just literally in 10 minutes. He wrote it down, and he goes, "Look, I'm ready. I'll go. Let's go in the booth." And that's it.
That just shows that there's talent there. I mean, where you can just write some set of lyrics.
Yes.
You just need to know what the subject is. And you just pen it down. It's like, pata nahi chalda ke kede vele likhta, kede vele record karta.
This is like even like the main. If you got true talent, all these people like they that's how it comes. Everyone says that, And Rax, with him, he'll start freestyling as well. So when someone can freestyle, that means, look, he can write down, he can make something on the spot. And even with the music as well, like, as you said, you're like, why is it a change from what I normally do?
Yeah.
It was even like the whole this year, I was just sitting there and I used to listen to all this music. And then even the lads that I DJ with, they used to show me this music, and they were like, and I used to listen to it. I'm like, this is so easy. like what they were doing. And it was
Yeah.
blowing up. It was like everyone was doing it. And I'm like, this is so easy. Like, because my production, the way I do it is like I'll make something, I'll try and record as much as I can because
Yeah.
Bhangra is all, there's a lot of live instruments. And then
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll even like call someone from India and I'll say, look, I need a sarangi piece made to this. So you get a sarangi player in, and we record the sarangi. So that
Yeah.
process, this new music has eliminated all that. So now it's all MIDI.
Yeah.
So it's literally loops. It's all made there. You got a keyboard. You can make everything on the keyboard, and it's just so that's why I was like, okay. Then I tried it, and then Rack's like, no, this sounds alright, man. I was like, okay. Then I kept trying it,
It
and it was so
works.
easy for
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
because I've done the hardest. It's like I can't even explain it, man. It's just like um, like if someone is driving a manual car, it's quite hard
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
drive, right? As soon as you
Absolutely.
put that person into an automatic car, it's
Yeah.
so easy for that person to drive
Oh yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
done
Yeah.
the hard
Definitely. Definitely.
part.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is like with
Absolutely.
me, I've done like I've done the hard part where we've
Whoa.
gone back and forth, back and forth. We've gone to India, we recorded all the music pieces, we recorded vocals, and then we've sat down and made it. Where this is, this cuts everything out of that, and it's just like
Yeah, it was a different concept because,
yeah,
like you
yeah,
mentioned, like every artist was just dropping tracks based on the Kasan movement, everything one after
yeah,
the
yeah,
other. Some tracks were good, some
yeah,
tracks were just chalo karta theek hai,
yeah,
right, just
yeah,
to
yeah,
support the whole scenario. But I think this one, especially being a UK based track, I mean, it was different than what we were
yeah.
watching anyway. I mean, it was completely targeting a different kind of audience
Yeah,
into that kind of genre of music because
that was a whole.
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ I mean ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ folk music ਸੁਣਦਾ he ain't gonna listen to underground music.
No way. Yeah, 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 yeah. So this is the thing because even like my whole contact base,
Yeah.
so whenever I make a track, I'll send it out to my whole base. That base was completely different. I couldn't send this track out to like because all of them are like from Punjab or from Canada
Yeah,
or even here, and they're like Punjabi speaking people. They wouldn't understand this. Like, but so this
absolutely.
was, and then even when we were making it, I was like to Rex, listen, don't let's not go too political and let's not get it too detailed. Let's take a
Yeah,
step back and do it so that it's talking about the injustices, but as a whole of what's
as
going
a
on.
whole. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because everyone was quite, when I listened to every other person's song, it was so detailed, and they were like going after
Yeah, yeah.
Sarkar, they were going after Modi, they were going after
Oh
like
yeah, they were proper,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
proper deep down, like
They just were,
proper,
yeah, they were ruthless. So we were
oh
like,
yeah, big
listen,
time.
we need to be ruthless, but we need to sort of hurt them with our words. So not like when people do Siddhi like the
Yeah,
gal.
like
Yeah,
remember buddy, Satya Sanaya, right?
that's it. You know when people do
Yeah,
gal straight to your face,
yeah.
it hurts, but people. But then this one, I was like, we need to put meaning behind it. Even the meaning you put behind it, I go, it has to make sense. And then it just it has to rhyme, and everything came together. And I
Yeah,
said, let it just be, just let it be, thoughtful. So that was the main
yeah.
thing. And
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we could notice that. I mean, kind of like to say, like a lot of the journalists, they always say the pen's mightier than the sword. Like, जो भी
exactly,
तुसी लिखते हैं, that
exactly.
is what's gonna hit people.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, definitely. And then the good thing was even when he was doing it, he done it in two stages. So the first stage was quite calm when he's rapping and he's just explaining what's
Yeah,
happening. And then we flipped it. The second stage, you sped up, and that was more of the UK vibe that people hear now.
yeah,
So it's more MCing rather than rapping. So it was
yeah.
sort of like a double-edged sword, basically.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it was solid. It was solid. DDS. I mean, you mentioned regarding like with time, music changes. I mean,
Yeah,
there's always a different vibe. Like Hunter concept every week is something different. Anyway, going on, especially in India, there's always something
exactly.
new going
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah, yeah,
production.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
where does the music industry stand here at the moment? Because we used to see live music before, then
Yeah, yeah,
Bhangra, then garage came when the DJs came.
yeah.
Then things have changed. I mean, a lot of people ask me, what exactly is working in the UK now when it comes down to production?
Nothing.
Exactly.
This is the problem.
Exactly.
From here,
Yeah.
the problem is there's no support for like
Yeah.
I do this as a passion. There's no like I don't do it. Oh look, you know I need to. If it was the other way around, I would be releasing 6 tracks a year religiously, 6 tracks, blah blah blah. Just to. But I do it as a passion because I love making music and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It takes me out of my element when you're in the studio and then when you're showing people, Swara and that you're showing. Look at this, and this is the thing. That's why I do it. But there's people obviously in the UK, not the UK industry, but they do it as a full-time thing, and they have to follow trends. They literally have to because that's what people like. But in the UK at the moment, the only thing that's working is everything that's coming out from India, everything coming out from Canada, America.
Yeah.
In the UK, I feel there's nothing new now. The only reason I'm saying that is because when you got Punjab, when you got Canada, when you got America, the lyrics they have are amazing. The lyrics are so they're very detailed and they're very current. They're very current.
Absolutely.
The slang they use is what everyone uses now. Where the UK kept on recycling the same vocals. It was either talking about a girl, a bottle, or Nachadiya. Exactly. It went round and round and round. It kept on doing the same thing. Boli Bani, and then it just kept on going. And then I think that's what number one was why it's that was a demise.
So do you think in a way that there's a lack of concepts, meaning like there's no creativity, innovation in terms of concepts?
Yeah. The other thing is because India, like a lot of producers here, they might not know. They might be Punjabi, but they might not know Punjabi. So they might think, oh, this is this song's good, the lyrics are good, but that's good to them, not to the masses where everyone else speaks like proper Thet Punjabi. They understand everything. You need that concept. You need that vocal, or you need. When people say something in a different way and you're like, and it just makes you think, oh yeah, and it's current. And even when you're saying something in Punjabi, you might say something in English as well, just to keep it current. Where in the UK, that's where I think the creativity lacks, is because because they're not, number one, they're like second generation Punjabis where English is all they speak. Punjabi, they'll say like "Sasrikal" is the most they probably say when when a guest comes over. So this is the thing. But if they had influence from someone, then that sort of would make I would say then that would help them in a different way, because the root, the foundation of a song is always the lyric. There's no point.
Lyrics, absolutely.
That's how you start it. You start with lyrics. Back in the day, we had like a party. He used to pull out his copy. So we used to look at the lyrics first, and then once we look at the lyrics, then we used to make the tune from it. So that's the main thing. So the main thing is the lyrics is the main thing, and then that's what I feel here in the UK. We sort of lost that because everyone was saying the same thing.
Yeah. I think, I mean, like you said, like it's almost recycling the same old concept. It's like, I remember back in the 2000s, when every single artist used to have a black Merc parked behind him, right? Stood in front of the car, in a studio, right? One person starts that concept and everyone's copying that.
The thing is, a lot of people don't like to be risky.
Yeah. That's one thing.
That's the main thing. Like, they've seen it work. This is what they say about Punjabis as well. Like, they don't innovate, so they see it work and they copy the style. Like,
that's it.
Someone's shop's working. Maybe so they
that's it.
So the problem is they don't. That's what they do 24/7, and that's what's come into even the music video game. This is what's happened. Everyone's like, oh, that's work. Let's just do that. And then
Yeah.
99, I know 99 or 90% of the time, the person who, just say I'm a producer, I will say to the producer, I'll send him a video off YouTube and say, look, I want something like this. And
Yeah.
there's no thinking process. And where we like, even if you've seen like a few of my videos, I try to do a bit different. So we made concepts for it. Like for example, we did Botal with Bikram Singh.
Yeah.
And we done a concept. We wrote down and we made, we had a book full of ideas. We made little screenshots. We're like, look, this is going to be here, this is going to be there. So it was a full thought process because it's part of the song. Where now it's like they send a link and they're like, oh, Paji, Amritman Varga Gana Chaida.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah. It's now, like, well, yeah.
If you see now, Punjabi songs, the videos are like movies. It's like,
oh yeah,
the same, and it's the thing is, it's the same thing now. It's like if you don't do that, then they're like, nah, you're not part of the trend. So, like, I try to stay away from that because I don't want like I prefer it to be more conceptual rather than following word by word of the song. The guy doesn't get the girl, and then at the end he gets her, and you get the same drone shots, you got the same hammer in the back, you got the same house in Canada. So so now it's
I mean, to be honest, like you mentioned that, I mean, you're selling a product, right? Obviously, you want to make it to work. You want people to engage with that product and actually touch it when the coming soon poster comes out. If that coming soon poster isn't engaging or it doesn't actually make an interest to the person, he won't even bother to like it because everything's social media now. So I think, like you said, that it's a trend and it's all a matter of like they want to be part of that same bandwagon. So I think that I've noticed that myself as well, where you're coming across an artist like you mentioned, like Amit Man, for example. He's got a very solid identity. He's got a very solid look, very bold look, and that became a copy as well, where the lads are spiking their hair up, and we've got the heavy mucha and the dari, man.
Same mucha, same dari, same jacket.
Yeah, that's it.
And the thing is, you'll never wear that. You'll never wear that in a normal day. So, so I can't ever see these guys wearing like those space shoes and these jackets and everything on a normal day. So in the video, that's the look, though. That's the thing. And because he's done it, and that's it. It just set a trend, and everyone again is the same thing. Everyone will send the same link to their video director, Padi, and then the video director will say, "Show me your costumes. What you're gonna wear," and then he'll say this, and that, and then video director 9 times out of 10 will send a link and say, "Look," or just send them a screenshot of a picture of Google and say, "You have to get these clothes." So this is the thing, and that trend has just been going on and on. Like as you said, that was early 2000s where people had a Mercedes in a white studio. So now that trend sort of there's an evolution to that trend where now it's people are doing the same thing, copying the same videos, but instead of in a white studio, they're standing with a Range Rover or a Mustang or something. Got a huge 19-bedroom house behind it.
That's it.
So this is the thing, man. It's the thing is all I say is they should be with the music video and the producer. There should be input. Like you can't just because that is your selling point. That's going to sell your song. If there's no input, if it's the same thing, it just gets watered down. That's the only problem.
Absolutely. I agree with that because at the end of the day, looking at the whole scenario where it comes down to trend or whatever, you would want your product to be far more different than what people are already seeing. It's a repeat thing. If someone out there who's a hardcore Punjabi music, follower, worships Punjabi music, he would look into proper detail the fact that I've already watched something like this. It looks exactly the same. I've been like to my friend's house for some, and they put it on YouTube,
and every song that comes up, because it's all recommended songs, so it'll come on, and we're watching YouTube, Bhangra song come on, and it's just everything just looks the same. I'm like, and my friend would say, "Oh, have you just seen this?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, it's a different song.
It's a different song, yeah.
It's a different song, but it's they've changed it." And then
Yeah.
I go to so that was my main concern. And then when you're talking also about it should look the same and everything, and you know a proper Punjabi fan would want something different. The
Absolutely.
problem is I've tried that, and I know a lot of people have tried that, but it does for like media companies,
Yeah.
as in radios
Yeah,
and TV, they want to see. They want basically, if you do something different, they might not even look at it. That's the whole problem.
Absolutely, it gets overlooked. You see, it goes overlooked.
And I've heard music, like there's some music. If you see my playlist, there's music I listen to, which probably no one's heard before. But it's because it's different. I'm like, whoa, this is really good.
Yeah,
but because he hasn't gone down the same avenues as everyone else, it's been overlooked. And this is the only problem. This is why I feel even creativity, like it's not there. Like with my songs, I will listen to my songs, and I will listen to it about 30 times in the car, and then if I still like it after like 20 times, I'm like, okay, that's good. That's an achievement. So I will release it. If I don't like it after 3 times, I'm like, I'm not releasing this. But people, I know producers that are making music now, just they don't like it, but they're just making it because it's what's working at the moment.
What's working at the moment? Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got Paji Shin here, right? And we've got Desi Toon Presents watching as well, right? And they're having a bit of a very funny discussion, right? Because I want to ask you this question. The fact that music no chaddo, videos no chaddo, what is DDS? I mean, what does DDS stand for?
Everyone, this is going to be the biggest mystery. I want to keep this the biggest mystery. Because every interview I do, everything I do, everyone asks me, what does it stand for?
Yeah.
And it doesn't stand for that. So the thing is, back in the day, there were, so there was a few of us. So we just had names. So what it was, it doesn't even, honestly, it doesn't actually stand for anything. It was just, there's a few names I had. Because before Enigma, I used to be called DDS. So I used to use that as a roadshow as well. And then afterwards, I changed it, but I kept the name. So I was like, everyone knows me now as DDS. I might as well keep the name. Because before, back in the day, I used to do internet remixes. So you used to have like dodgy sites, and I used to do internet remixes. Me, there's a guy called APS. There was DJ Dippa. There's like a few of us. We used to do old remixes, and it went quite. Everyone used to listen to it, and then they were like, "Oh, you have to put a name to it." And I was like, "Okay." Then I used to use DDS as my the DJ company. I was like, "Just use that." And then that's how I got stuck with it.
That's how it all stuck with it, yeah.
And then later on, I was like, should I change it? Should I not? And then I was like, you know what? It's too late now. It's gone too far.
I was thinking. The reason why I was asking, because I was thinking that you must be like some form of computer technician, that you're always dealing with hard drives like HDD. And I thought that's where the DDS has come from. Very computerized.
It could be. The other thing is, I've got even on Twitter, I don't even use it, but I've got a Twitter account, and because of DDS, I've got so many dentists that added me because
oh my god,
because the ending of their degree is DDS once you're a doctor. So I've got so many dentists that have added me, and they're probably thinking this guy's a dentist. So
you're lucky that you're not called DDW, because they could call you Desi Dandawala or something.
Exactly. No, man, this is the thing. But it's, So just everyone's asking me that. I want to use that now as a mystery. So I'll reveal it one day. It'll be like a grand reveal.
We'll be waiting for that. I mean, hopefully. I mean, it'll be. It will be some form of big event, right? Where this is gonna maybe when you get a lifetime achievement award, you never know, right? That's when we reveal it. Well, all these years we haven't known what DDS is, and we find out right now.
Yeah. By then, I might even change my name, man. So it might.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. I mean, we've spoken about your DJing side of things, your production side of things.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got The Calling. You know, everyone's loving that track. It's a different vibe, completely different thing than the usual. Yeah. What have you got next now? What's DDS got planned next? What we should be looking forward for?
There's so many tracks I've done. Again, it's the same thing. I need to release them. I was gonna do an album, to be honest. I was gonna. I've always wanted to do an album, but now obviously the culture's changed. No one really. People do albums, but they prefer singles because if you have a video to the single, it gets more exposure. With the album, the problem is there's gonna be songs that I like and I want people to appreciate, but it might get overlooked because there's no video to it. And the other thing is I feel there's not enough support for a UK artist to be releasing an album. Personally,
I've noticed that. I mean, I was going to mention that. That because it is one thing what has been in my mind, you know, since I started as a radio presenter as well. And from that day to now, I'm always noticing that you come across just sort of certain radio stations that must be playing a UK producer's brand new track or wherever.
Yeah.
What it's a bit of concern where the fact that you're an artist, you put that time and effort, to produce a track, get all the production work done, then you're out there marketing it, all right?
Yeah.
But what has gone wrong in the fact of that? Why is there a lack of support in the industry? I mean, that's one thing. What I've noticed.
Yeah, there's the only thing I can think of. I've tried, like, even when we released my tracks, so it's under Tiger Styles record label, Soldier Sounds, so Soldier Recordings. Yeah. So what they do is, so they obviously deal with all this, but then I feel that I have to again contact everyone as well. This and that, and then the thing is with albums, that's the only reason I don't want to do it, is because I know there's no support. Like, I've been chasing people, like, at least, like, guys, give me an answer at least. At
least reply back, at least courtesy sake.
Yeah, that's it. Like, even if you don't like it, say, look, I don't know, at least that's criticism for me. That's critical criticism. I can say, okay. But then when you the thing is with UK, you've got all these, British artists, but there's literally no support. This is why I feel there used to be all these artists that we had from the UK. Or like all these singers, Jussi Sidhu, there was like Punjabi by Nature. And all these guys were releasing albums and albums. And then it just went, no albums. Then it was singles. Now I haven't even heard anything. Like, I'm like, why is this? Like, it must be a low level of what do you call it? So there must be at a low level that someone is not appreciating it. Then it's like a domino effect happening. So once you don't get that, back then, like this probably started 5-6 years ago, where British media is not supporting the artists, and now we're seeing the effect because there's no British artists out there. Like, there's some, but they're not British artists, they're international artists. So there's some out here that have done well, but they're on international scale. They're like, living half their life in India and then half life back here. So that's a different scale, where UK is, the music that comes out is completely different. Like, because that sound is like an international Punjabi sound, where I still want to hear the odd.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, to be honest, like you're saying, to be honest, there's a handful of talented people in the UK at the moment. Just a handful. Yeah. And you don't really see their music or their videos or whatever on mainstream media platforms.
Yeah, I don't ever see anything like even like the WMC released album a year ago. I heard it. I was like, wow, what is like for
Yeah,
WMC?
well, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
done it,
yeah.
released it, then nothing. Then there was no like he tried to do videos and everything, but it was just like, where's the support? This guy's he's made UK Bhangra. So
Oh,
support
yeah.
literally.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, when you rewind back to Punjab BMC, when Mundiya to Bach Ke Rahi released, it
Yes.
was booming everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
even on English media as well. Even, I think it got featured in a movie as well, I think, as a background kind of thing, you know.
That track done wonders. That track
Oh,
said
yeah.
everything, and that track probably not in a direct way, but it's probably made a lot of radio stations and it's made a lot of
Oh, yeah.
because it's set. It was such a big track, and a wide audience has sort of made and influenced all these all these radio stations and TV stations. So
Yeah, yeah.
and that for that guy, and he's like a legend, and I don't know. I just don't. I just like. I literally don't know because if someone comes out and says like, guys, this is why we don't support, then we'll say, okay, that's fine. Thank you for telling us, and then at least
Yeah.
we know where we stand. But it's like
Yeah.
it's literally. I get like some media companies saying like, oh yeah, we'll support it, but you need to advertise with us. And I'm like, okay, okay, cool, okay, that's fine. But then after that, I'm like, but how do you justify your prices? Because this is the problem. And then in my head, I'm like, are you charging all these international guys this much? Are you like, or
Absolutely,
are you
it's a question. It's a question. Yeah, it's a question what should be asked. You know.
So that's in my head. I'm always thinking like these guys are huge. Like these, you got Sidhu, Karan, like in my head, I go, when you're playing their track, are you, have they paid for adverts, or are you playing it just because they're big and that's that's influencing you, that's benefiting you guys. So this is the thing. So
well, yeah, I mean, it's the thing. I mean, it's two sides of the story here. That either they're paying them revenue,
yeah,
or either they're paying the radio stations. So it's either way. Yeah.
The thing is, it's a bigger like for example, you have to look at the scale of this. So when you've got so I know like in the when you've got the main, like the like pop music or the main R&B songs and whatnot, what they do, because the market is so big, what they do is in like all the clubs, the main clubs around the world, like Vegas, even in Europe or anything, they pay the DJs, the main DJs, they'll pay them to play the track. So that's why it's always playing in the clubs. And so you listen to it, and then you're gonna go and you're gonna go and buy the track, and then that's how So there's a whole process to this. So obviously, but that's mainstream music. So obviously, with this, I don't know like what is the process, because no one's told me like if there's a process that someone should be following. I literally don't know, and it's a shame because I was brought up on UK Bhangra. All that music was amazing, man. Like it was about us, isn't it? About our culture here.
Absolutely.
UK. I can't relate to Bande having 7 guns and 4 pit bulls.
Yeah.
I can't relate to that. Where here in the UK, when people used to talk about whatever when they used to talk about everything, we would relate to it, because half the time it was like shot in the club we know, or we know the person in the video, or it's relatable. Here there's no, here you can't, because it's it's like it's like Hollywood what do you call it, budgets now.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's no, you can't really say, oh yeah, because all the videos they've got guns, they've got dogs, and the other thing is, I used to get a lot, like even when we used to make videos, and we used to make songs, it was always, you can't there shouldn't be any violence, there shouldn't be no bottles in your videos, there shouldn't be anything, so otherwise we won't play it. And I was like, okay. And then now I go, when did the rules change? Like, because now
But
every song.
do you think that there's a, like, with the change of the generation,
Hmm.
do you think that could be the reason why the generation now are more into, in a different culture? They're not really relative to the culture what we've grown in,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
we've grown up with a music that was more associated to Punjab,
Yeah, yeah.
Fulkariyan, the clothing, the whole, Pindawaram whole kind of thing, what used to get associated into, like, even back in the days when there used to be bands, they always used to sing songs where it used to be related to their journey from Punjab,
Yeah.
then coming to the UK, then, with that whole kind of vibration around them, where they got people, where they were working in factories and,
No,
this
no, no.
and that,
I understand that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely understand that. It feels like I'm getting old now because
We're actually young, we're kind of, I mean, we've kind of preserved the
you know what I mean?
culture here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, because we were brought up so early into it, that's why. And
Hmm.
but the thing is, I'd understand that if it's if they're trying to relate to the younger
Hmm.
audience, but when it did guns become our culture, like not in a bad way, like
Yeah.
how is that helping, or how is that how are we accepting that now in with our youth, and then now and then the main thing was when I always used to get told you can't have even like I was getting told you can't have gunshots in your songs.
And the
I used
actual
to
audio,
I used
yeah,
to do a
yeah,
little effect or whatever because it used to
yeah,
sound
yeah.
good. I used to get told that all the time, and then now it's like people openly speaking about it, and you're playing it. So I don't understand. I go, where's it's basically just I don't know. I just don't get it. I didn't know where the
That's funny. It's funny that you've mentioned this because I remember back, I would say about 2, 3 years ago, and I had, you must have heard of Rush Frantic from Singapore.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And he sent me the track, his track, right? I think it was Lak Tera, I think, right? I
Okay,
think it was
yeah.
Lak Tera or Jawab. It was out of the two tracks, right? And what he experienced was that he had a track which he must have gave it to, he must have emailed to a mainstream, radio station,
Yeah.
and उन्हें एक दो नुक्स कढ़े that, oh, it sounds too desi, it sounds too, it
There
sounds
you go.
way too traditional, this and that, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, never mind, not a problem.
Yeah.
And a week later, a track gets played on a mainstream radio station where it's mentioning guns.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like you're thinking that the mainstream media would support a track which is more cultural
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than violence.
Yeah. This is the thing.
Yeah,
This is now. This is when the penny drops.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
literally now turned around to people and said, "Listen, tell me, like, what do you want? I'll make it." That's how it's coming.
yeah. Well, that's how it works now. Yeah, yeah.
I go, look, tell me what you want. I go, with me, I always wanted to make music that I like, and I always, kushi undi hai when you show someone and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's good, man." Like, and the thing is, when I don't like, I've made music for other people. So I made music back in the day. I used to make music for other people in India and here, and I didn't like it, and I never. Then you're not proud of your product. So this is the
Yeah.
main thing. I've tried, and it doesn't sit well with me basically. And but I know that that's what it is. For you to get played now, you have to basically tick all the boxes. That's the problem.
Hmm.
And
That's the problem.
the thing is, the dangerous side to that is we might be losing like such a talented and creative person where they don't tick all the boxes, and you know what I mean. Like now it's
Absolutely.
image this. For example, in the mainstream, look at there's that singer called Adele.
Oh yes.
She everyone used to sort of gun her about her looks and whatever, but her talent was amazing. Yeah,
Oh
so
yes.
she came up there and now she's smashing it. Where now, imagine in Punjabi industry, anyone like that, would they ever give them a chance?
No way.
No way. So
No way. Never.
that's where it's dangerous because we'll we'll lose that talent. Because they'll say, "Oh, look, forget this. I'm not wanted here," or blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
we haven't been exposed to that talent, and that's where the whole sad part of it is. There's people out there. I've heard singers that are amazing. Like I'm like, wow. But then I know, and this is bad on me as well. In the back of my head, I'm like, you know what? It's so sad, but you're not going to work. Like,
well, I mean, to be honest,
you know what I
it
mean?
just seems like to me there's more selective things because if we rewind back, like for example, when Top of the Pops was around,
Yeah.
It used to get considered as one of the biggest platforms. If you reach there, that means you are something big,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we have seen some of the Punjabi artists from the UK on that platform, like even like Rishi Rich,
Yeah.
Jay Sean,
Yeah.
Even Punjabi MC's been on there, Apache's been on there,
Yeah.
And now it's like, why aren't there any platforms like that no more where, there's some equal opportunities, like in terms of,
Yeah. There won't be with the mainstream. I think our generation then was about Bhangra music, and that's what we wanted to come there. Now, our generation now, the Apne are actually making music for Gore, and Kale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're actually making for them, and they actually are in mainstream, but we probably don't even know them as Apne. When you think about it, like if you focus more, then you're like, oh, that's the Apna banda. I don't even know that. But they're making music for the Gore, for the Kale, and they're doing really well. Where back then, Apne couldn't make music like that. Or they could, but they weren't given that opportunity. Then the only opportunity they thought in their head was, like, with Rishi Rich thought they smashed it because they'd done a crossover of Punjabi and English. And that's what made it for them. I think Punjabi MC, he had a great sample in there, which made this, amplified the song. And I think that's why he got into there. And even Apache Indian, he had his style, and he wasn't Punjabi. Like his music wasn't Punjabi. He was like another crossover. So I think that's why. Well, I think now no one's really trying to make that crossover. The last person I would say was Steel Bangles and Sindhu. They done that.
Oh,
track.
yeah.
And that
they did that track.
Again, it went into mainstream. So that was, but I think they were intended for that because they got missed on the song and they wanted to go for that. So that's why it worked. But I think Apne are already in the industry, man, in the main industry, and they're making beats for all these A-list guys, man. So I think, I think now that was just a time and place where that was happening. And but it's good. But I think we need somewhere in the Punjabi industry like a platform like that, where because at the moment we don't know. Like the thing is, it's so corrupt. So we don't know.
Well, straight talk, real talk here. Yeah,
we see YouTube and you see the views, and it's so like you can't believe anything anymore. So when someone says, "Oh, this track's number one," how did it get number one? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is it
logically? Yeah, if you're looking at that kind of depth and detail, where you're looking at the content here.
Yeah. Because there's some songs I've heard, and they're on like, I think like 300 million views, and I've never heard it in my life. I don't even know the artist. So I'm like, this guy must be. Oh, what's going on here? But then then you can see that. Okay, why is this not getting like flagged? Why?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like in Bollywood, they had an issue when Badshah got I think he got a court sentence or something for.
Oh yes, yeah.
So he got it. Why doesn't this happen in Punjabi music? Do you know what I mean?
It's a question to ask because I remember watching this interview of Sarjeet Khan a couple of months ago, right? And he revealed in his interview that in the history of Punjabi music, there has never been a censor board in Punjab.
Yep. Yep.
That our songs get sent to Delhi, it gets sent to Mumbai,
Yep.
and they just release it because for them, you know, Western stuff, or either you're talking about like guns, alcohol, this that, it's a normal thing for them.
Yeah. This is the thing, and it's just
Yeah, and they just let it happen. They just release it. And these are the people like us who are trying to maintain the culture side of things. They're getting overlooked. Although where we get people listening to our music,
yeah.
they're still like it doesn't get remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main thing for that is the culture's changed a lot. We're now in a throwaway culture where Bella, we used to buy a CD, buy a tape, and we used to buy it. We used to basically, because there's a physical product we had, we used to have this song, and we never used to, you know, if it broke, like the CD broke or the tape, we would have to go and spend another £10 for that CD.
Yeah,
so that's why it was so precious to us. Maybe we didn't like the song, but the actual physical product was our main thing. So now, now the problem is, if you deliver the songs only on your phone, so there's no physical form of that song. If you delete the song, you can download it again. So there's no remorse that if I've lost the song or So this is why it's like a full throw. It's like a full throwaway culture. So that's why people don't remember songs, because they're just churning out. They're churning out song by song, and there's no. This is why no one remembers anything, because the songs are not there. Like it's been. So just say, I remember when a song used to come out, we used to, and you should know, when we used to come, it used to last me. Sometimes a song album used to last me a year. I was listening.
Oh yeah, 100%, no doubt. Yeah. I mean, there's certain albums what we would listen on repeat even now. Yeah. There's certain albums where, I mean, if we look back to, like, for example, the 90s, I don't think there's anyone who's watching us who haven't heard, the hit albums back in the days.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I used to listen, like, even if I used to listen to, when I used to go to school, I used to listen to it, and then I know, I listened to it on the way there and on the way back, and I used to have the same one for months on end, and then that's because, it was, I've spent money on it. And,
well, that's one thing. Yeah, you invested your money on it. Yeah.
Now it's just so easy. Like an album, I know now people won't even listen to the whole album. They're like, first 30 seconds, they got anybody in it. Next one. So There's that one button, where back then it was the next track. If it was on a tape, you have to forward it all. You're like, no, I might as well listen to it now. So
So
this is the thing. This is the whole thing, and then so now, I think that's as well is the trend of not having albums now, because people are thinking, what is it worth?
Absolutely. Wow, fantastic talks there, man. I mean, proper in-depth conversation here, right? Last question, right? Because there's many singers, right? Many young talented people, many producers who want to get into the industry and want to start their career in the music industry. Now, you being an experienced DJ and producer in the scene, in this day and age, can any singer or music producer actually full-on make revenue out of music full-time?
Yeah. The thing is, the way they'll have to do it is sort of make a name for themselves first. So you have to make a brand or a name, or and then as a producer, I can say, I will say, like, for example, I'll make beats. If someone wants to buy the beats off me, I can sell them. So that's how you make money. The other way is royalties. So, for example, you sell the song, but you say, look, I'll give it to you for free, but I want to keep 50% of the royalties. So the more it gets played,
so whatever the plays or the downloads, you have a
So that
percentage out of it. Yeah.
That will be their income. But as a singer, I think now singers, their main income would be from live shows. like
Yeah.
at weddings,
Yeah.
clubs, and that's it. And obviously now they're struggling this whole year. There hasn't been any,
Absolutely.
and I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
people are struggling. But I would say the singer, there won't be. The thing is, the streaming. You know, now it's streaming culture. You used to basically used to buy albums. When you buy them, that was a revenue for you.
Revenue for
Now,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now, even when you go to like iTunes or something, you used to buy it. That was a revenue. But the problem now is all streaming. The streaming
Hmm.
is for the big artists. It's amazing because the big artists now, if you've seen, they've made songs shorter. So where we used to have
Yeah.
5, 6 minute songs, they made like if you see Diljit, he's made songs at 2.5 minutes
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when you finish that song, you're like, I want to play it again. So that's another stream. So this is how
Yeah.
they're thinking now. They're making shorter songs. You stream it more, you get more you get more revenue. But
Yeah.
for the artists that are like locally based or like for like the smaller artists, that is really bad because um, you don't have that fan base that Diljit has. So you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
when someone's just streaming it, when you stream it, you apparently for it to count as a download, which is 99p, it has to apparently be streamed like I think it's like 300 times.
Wow.
So if you,
Wow.
I think it is.
Yo.
Don't hold me to that, but I'll double check. But it is. I think it's about 300 times, and that doesn't make sense. I'm like, I'm like,
My God.
so where I used to say like, just say for example, to just say 2,000 people downloaded my song.
Hmm.
Back then, that was 99p. Just say that's £2,000, right? So autant you get your fees and whatnot. But now, if 2,000 people listen to your song from
Yeah.
streaming, you divide that 300. So that's three. So you only get seven downloads.
My
So
God.
what's that? £7. So
You
that's
got
what.
£7 then. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. For a singer, it doesn't make sense to make like two. So you won't get no money from revenue like that, but you'll get money from stage shows. That's why they push it a lot now. So if you see
Yeah.
every wedding you go to, there's a singer. Every club there's a singer. Even if you see now all the artists like even like UK based or America or Canada, they go seasonally to India. So they'll go
Yeah.
like they go around probably September, October when it's cooled down a little bit. That's when the wedding season's there. They go basically
Yeah.
there, and then all the way until February, March. So they'll do seasonal work there, and then they'll come back for wedding season here, and then they'll
Yeah.
here probably like from May, June, July, August, and they'll do weddings here. So and it's worked. It's pretty good, man. It's worked out for them.
Well, holiday, bloody, it's a great way of exploring the world as well. Like,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
seasonally, that is a very interesting thing you told us there. But big up, man. Respects for taking your time out
No
because
problem, man. Thank you for
the
having
whole
me, man.
point of this conversation was the fact that just to explore not just your music, but also exploring the experiences and all sorts you've had in the journey as well, so far.
Yeah, no, exactly. The thing is, a lot of people probably don't know, so it's good to have these conversations. The other thing is, obviously, because of lockdown, there hasn't been many conversations.
Yeah,
So,
well, yeah,
so
absolutely, yeah.
you're probably talking to the same people over and over again. And you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So this is good to have this interaction. And I've, now it's the new age where everything's virtual, everything's done like
Absolutely.
this. So it's
Yeah.
good as well because Bella, you have to go. Like I used to do interviews. I used to set out interviews. So I used to like if I did anything in the Midlands, I'll go there to a certain radio station. Then
Yeah.
I'll call someone else. I'll say I have to go there. So it would take like a whole weekend to do these interviews because
Just the
we're doing a
interviews,
tour
yeah.
basically, right? So now
Yeah.
it's good because now in this way, I can sit at home and just have a discussion.
Yeah, well, they'll say, "Bhave kacha banana paake beh jaओ," in front of the camera,
Exactly, man.
like
This is
just casual.
the new culture, man. This is it, man.
That's it.
No,
That's it. That's it.
It's good because obviously, now obviously you can. I've told you everything, and people know. Like it's at least if anyone wants to do it, they know, you know, what to do or how to go about it. Even if they want to message me, and I can always tell them, look, this is the way to do it. Good thing now, if anyone wants to do it, it's a digital age, and it's so much easier to release music. It's unbelievable. And I think anyone now is, if they want to do it, is now the time to do it.
Wow. Fantastic, man. Fantastic. But absolute pleasure, Paji, for your time.
No problem.
And I'm hoping the very best for the further projects you bring as well. You know, whatever you bring for us, because you've given some proper solid tunes, right? So we're looking forward for the next stuff. And before we wrap up, I mean, what message you want to give to your followers and fans who are watching us, you know, across the globe? I mean, I've noticed we've seen, I think I've got a few names. I mean, Harman Walia from India, we've got Rohit, Desi tunes from up north, Newcastle, Deep Singh, Raj Gurmeet from India as well. I mean, we've got the whole world here. Shin Paji from Gravesend, Leamington, we've got some Leamington people here as well. Yeah, man, but apne andaz naal give out as many shots as you want, Paji.
Yeah, man, just the main thing is just keep supporting. It's just, now it's obviously the time is, you know, everything's going corporate as well. If you can see, it's like support local trade. You know how they say? So,
absolutely, so
This is the main thing. We've all like even Shin knows, man. Like, we've worked so hard to basically release music, and it's good to know that people appreciate it. You know, the thing is, a lot of the time, like Shin used to tell me, like, when you release it, you only hear back from 5% of the people, or 3%, something like that. And then I was like, okay, that at least that gives me a bit more positive thinking that there's all these The main thing is just keep supporting, and just the main as long as it's good music, man. Just everyone just keep supporting, keep liking. The more interaction people have, I think that sort of helps the artists out. The more you like, the more you comment, the more you share. Look, we're not about the views. We're not about this. We're about real people, and real people, real fans, real people who like music. That's what we're about. I think that's what a majority of the artists are about. So as long as you like it, you share it, just interact with us, show us what you don't tell us what you want. Then, you know, we'll make it happen. But that's it.
Fantastic.
Really. That's it, really, man. And thank you for you as well, always supporting. Always, you know,
look, you know what it is, right? Well, the thing with me is, like you said, I mean, passionate about music from childhood days, right? And, you know, I'm one of those lads as well. I used to collect CDs and cassettes back in the days. And I still got Shin Paji's album as well, what he did with Amar Arshi, right?
Yeah.
And it's a blessing for me that I've known and got to know him, right? Because he's been around for years, but you know, face-to-face mulaqat, you know, get to interact with the person. That's a blessing for me, man. So respects to him as well. And big up, Paji, and hoping the very best. And I'm hoping that your DJing starts as well. Hope you get used to it.
I'm hoping for that too, man. It's just I'm anxious at the moment. Just I'm imagining when the first function is, or you know, how to get back into it. But it should be all right, man. And it's just a good time that we've had away. But I think it's time now just to get back to normality now.
Absolutely. I mean, especially those who actually book DJs for their events. I think they've got something to look forward, because I'm sure you'll be bringing something new to cater into, you know.
We're trying to. We're just obviously we don't know what's happened in this year, so how anything's going to change the dance basically. So we knew what songs were working back then, but this year we don't know. There's all these songs.
Absolutely.
Obviously now we have to be mindful what to play, when to play it. You know, what's going to work, what songs have got too old, or you know, we have to start thinking about all that now. So it's a challenge, but it's a good one.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the DJs bring on the dance floor now, because we've heard Patiala Peg, we've heard Tojiki Roda, and all of the Dati Hilti, everything, right? But it's a matter of what's new now, what's going to bring people on the dance floors.
Exactly.
That's the main thing now. So that's going to be a challenging thing for the DJs. I mean, we've got a couple of DJs watching as well. I've noticed at the start as well. And
Yeah.
It is going to be a challenging thing for the DJs, what to mix and what to do, you know, on live sessions.
Yeah.
It's going to be a challenging thing.
Yeah. But it's good, man. It's a challenge is always a good thing.
Absolutely. I think that's where you learn from as well, from challenges,
definitely,
experimentation and things. But yeah, man, absolute pleasure, Paji, and God bless. And yeah, man, we'll be staying connected as usual as we are.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely.
Yeah,
no, always appreciate
fantastic.
The help that you bring, man. It's always
Respect,
appreciated.
Man.